Can we? Yasmat jatam jagat sarvam yasminyeva praliyate yenedam dharyate chaiva tasmai jnanatmane namaha Ishvaro gururatmedi murti bheda vibhagine vyomavat vyapta dehaya Dakshinamurtaye namaha Taittiriya Kasarasya Mayacharya prasadataha Vispashtartharuchinam hi Vyakyeyam sampraniyate Om Shanno mitrasham varunaha Shanno bhavatvaryama Shanna indro brihaspatihi Shanno vishnururukramaha Namo brahmane Namaste vayo Tvameva pratyaksham brahmasi Tvameva pratyaksham brahma vadishyami Satyam vadishyami Ritam vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu mam Avatu vaktaram Om Shanti 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 Om iti Brahma Om iti idagum sarvam Om ityetadanuhriti hasmava Apyo shavayetya shavayanti Om iti samani gayanti Ogum shomiti shastrani shagum santi Om ityadvaryu pratigaram pratigranati Om iti brahma prasauti Om ityagnihotra anujanati Om iti brahmana pravakshannaha brahmopa apnavaniti brahmopa brahmaivopa apnoti. So this is the 8th anuvaka. As you have already guessed, it's all about Omkara. Every mantra is only about Om. So this is an anuvaka on Omkara. We have seen 4 upasanas in chapter 1 so far. We first saw the Samhita Upasana. How the teacher said, you can take the mantras and contemplate the various components of the mantra, see God in it. That is the first upasana which we saw. Then the Vyahriti Upasana, Bhuhu Bhuvaha Suvaha Mahaha. He contemplated on this wonderful creation of the Lord and see the Lord there. That was the second type of exercise which the Rishi was suggesting. The third upasana was in the Daharakasha. Antare, Nataluke, all that. How we should look at the Hiranyagarbha within us. Why are we looking at outside? We should be able to look at the world within also. So that was the third exercise, third upasana. Last class we saw the Pankta Upasana, this 5-fold. How this whole beautiful creation is all number 5. In many ways it is 5-fold. So we have seen 4 upasanas so far, and this is the last upasana in chapter 1. After that, convocation address comes. So this is an upasana on Omkara. So it's all about Omkara. I have actually split it into 3. if you read the text, it will be one paragraph. I have split it into three because structurally speaking, there are three parts to it. So I wanted to show that. This Upasana has three components. The first component is just that pair of two short sentences. It says Om is Brahman, Om is everything. Om iti sarvam. So everything is Om, Brahman is Om. So that is a short statement in a nutshell telling what is Om. That is the first part of the Upasana. Then there is a middle part in which the Rishi is actually showing how is this Om used in an yajna. In other words, in a karma kanda. When people are in the karma kanda, do various karmas which are all yajna and so on, what prominence Om plays. So that is those set of mantras which I have artificially split it. Then you have the last, there are a couple of mantras. Agnihotram anujanati, Om iti brahma pravakshan aha, all that. Which actually shows that it is not only in karma kanda, a true vichara, a true inquirer also invokes Om. In fact, in our, day-to-day, whatever we do, Om is used. If you think of it, Om is used all the time. So this is only trying to put all of them and show that, so I have artificially split it into three. All of them are in one anuvaka. But unlike the other upasanas, this upasana is all about prashamsa. It's all talking great about Om. It's not saying there is no pala. Normally in upasanas we found there was a pala at the end. If you do this upasana, what will happen? They are all not there in this. This is a short but a powerful set of mantras which celebrates Om. We seem to use Om without really thinking about what is that we are doing. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 17, the chapter ends with Om Tat Sat. There are 4 shlokas on Om Tat and Sat. So there we did talk a little bit about Om, because Om is a very, very special kind of upasana. It is only an alambana, it is only a support on which we have to see many things. So this anuvaka basically celebrates the power of Om. That's what it is doing. There is no palashruti, there is no mention of, they are all implied. By seeing all these celebrated dimensions of Om, it is implied that therefore if somebody can do a Omkaara Upaasana, see what are all told in Om and then think about those ideas, it is beneficial. So that is implied, left as an exercise to the student in a way. So that is how this is structured. If you recollect, this Om came earlier also. In the Vyahriti Upasana, before the Vyahriti Upasana, this is the mantra. Yas chandasam rishabo vishwarupaha chandobhyo dyamrita sambabhuva samendro medaya aspranotu amritasya deva dharano bhuyasam shariram me vicharshanam Jihva me madhumattama karna abhyam bhuri vishvam. There is a set of mantras. There it says, yes, chandasam rishabha. Chandas basically means Veda. Normally if the word chandas is used, the default meaning is Veda. Vedic literature is called Chandas. Panini uses only 2 words in his grammar. Chandayam Bhasham. In Chandasi Bhashayam. He only says Chandas. That means it is in Vedic literature. Bhasha means in Vyavahara, the Sanskrit that is used for all other things other than the Veda. So Chandas always means Veda, Vedic lore. So yes, Chandasam Rishabha. We showed the prominence. There we saw Omkara. I talked a little bit about Omkara, if you recollect. In the 4th Anuvaka it was there. But we did not, little bit detail we saw. So this has its reference there. Samendro Medaya Spranoto. Saha Indraha. Indraha is, Indra is the most prominent of the gods. He's sort of the captain or the CEO of the gods, if you have to use a word like that. So this reference of Indra is being given in that mantra to say of all the Vedic mantras, the top is Om. So these are all the ways Om was referred. in that fourth anuvaka. After that we haven't directly touched Om, whereas this anuvaka is all about Om. Now, as I have been doing, before we look at these mantras, I have to do some background explanation, only then these mantras will make sense. So we look at two important things. First thing we will look at, this middle part is all about yajna. Let's look at the project management dimensions of an yajna. Yajna is a huge project management. The organization, the teamwork is very, very well defined, well laid out. So we will look at only the manpower component. There are logistical details, there are many things. Today we look at only the manpower, but they are all referred here. Advaryu, Hota, Udgata, so we'll have to know all these terms. So let me little bit spend time on that. And then these mantras will make a little sense. And one more issue I want to talk before we take this mantra. Then these mantras is straightforward. If we are able to connect to that discussion, then mantras will be in place. So we will see that first. So we will move on to how an yajna is organized. Can you shift that? So basically an yajna has, most of the yajnas, not all the yajnas, most of the yajnas require a 18-member team. That's how it is structured. You need 18 members. So let us first try to understand who are those 18 members, and there are names attached to them. There is an organizational title for all of them. So we will see that first. Because these mantras are all referring all of them. So it is so dry for me to simply say that and go, and you also will not make much sense. So the first thing is required is Yajamana and Yajamana Patni. You need somebody who has the adhikara to do the yajna. Putra Kameshti, Dasharatha did. Draupadi and Drupada did, Kameshti only. Putra Kameshti. He wanted an offspring to finish off Drona. And an extra addition was Draupadi. He was interested in the son. So in any yajna, Sakamya, Kathopanishad, if you see the whole story is behind this yajna only. So for any yajna to be done, whether it is with desire or without desire, that's a minor issue. See, any ritual you do, you need a Yajamana and Yajamana Patni, somebody who is the adhikari of that. So they are number two. So they are the two of them. So in any case we need who have to do the yajna ritual. Then let us see who are the 16. Then there is a gana called Hotr Gana. Okay? The technical name for them is Hotras. Hotr, Vikaranta. So the Pratama Vibhakti is Hota. Like Pitru becomes Pita. Matru becomes Mata. Nanandra becomes Nanahanda. Like that. Hotr Gana. Hotr Ganasya Pratama Vibhakti Hota. So there is a chief priest of that group. So there are 4 of them actually. 1 plus 3. One Hota and his assistant, 3 of them, manager and assistant manager. Can keep it like that, or team leader or whatever you want to call it. Okay? So there is a main part of the Hotr Gana. I have just used all of them are Hotas only. I have simply said Hota plus 3. In other words, there is a main priest and there are 3 priests with them. That group is called Hotr Gana. This is one group of 4 required. Okay? These are people who will recite Rig Veda. They will recite only Rig Veda. We'll see why and all that a little later, but let's get the thing first. Then you have a second group called Advaryu Gana. Advaryu, so Advaryu, all are Advaryu only, but I am calling the captain or the leader as Advaryu. He has 3 assistants, 1 plus 3. So that makes it 4. So there is a second group of 4, which we call it as Advaryu Gana. And Advaryu Gana will recite only Yajurveda. So all division of labor, everything is there. So they will recite only Yajurveda. Okay? So that is the second set of 4. So 4 plus 4, 8 plus 2, 10. We need 2 groups of 4 more to make it 18. That's the logic. 2 more Vedas which we know anyway, we have guessed it. The third is called Udgatra Gana. Udgata and his 3 more Udgatas who are his assistants. They are Samavedis. They will recite only Samaveda. They will not recite Rigveda, they will not recite Yajurveda. Similarly, the Advaryugana will recite only Yajurveda. He will not recite Rigveda or Samaveda. Similarly, the Hota will recite only the Rigveda. Okay? Now the question is, what is the logic? Now, let's say I call somebody home. Let's leave it aside. Let's look at some other problem. If we call somebody for dinner, correct? A couple of people, a few friends, we call. So, they come, you don't expect they'll go and sit and eat the food. You say, please come, have a little chat, some nice things, and then come, let's have food. And then you serve food. And after the food is there, maybe you have a background music also, some nice music which runs on a music system or something, and then you say, very nice of you having come. This is what we do. That's exactly the point here. The three Vedas are actually made only like that.
We have just put this, 11 prophets are involved and one is team leader.
Yes. That is because of the Rudra Ekadashi. Ekadashini. Because you do 11 into 11, or if you have a little more stamina, you can do 11 into 11 into 11. If you have some more stamina, you can do 11 into 11 into 11 into 11. It's called Maharudra, Atirudra and all that.
There was some puja,
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah. They actually,
Next day,
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rudra Abhishekam,
Yeah.
they are doing one.
Yeah, so the 11 comes because of Rudra Ekadashini. So they keep 11.
Three are done separately.
Yeah, yeah.
Karsa puja separately done.
Yes, yes.
This Rudra Abhishekam separately done.
Yeah.
This Homam separately done.
There's also a Rudra Homa only. It's a Purnahudi is using Chamaka, and then they do the Vasordhara. All of them are related to Rudra, actually. That's why the 11 is coming there. So, the point here is, the Rig Veda is to invoke the gods. As your guest comes, you say, please come, and then have, you have to invite, no? You can't expect them to open the door and come. You say, please come, they ring the bell, you send an invitation, ask them to come, all the equivalent of that. That's why Rigvedic hymns are all like that. If you read the meaning of it, it is all telling, praising them and saying, you are great, please come. All mantras are like that. Please come. You are so great on these following reasons, please come and bless us. Like that, mantras are all like that. That is the Rig Veda. That's how Rig Veda is organized. Yajurveda is organized in a way that the actual rituals are done only with Yajurveda. Whenever an yajna is done, all those details are only in Yajurveda. It's like saying, when people have come, you have to serve them food. So Ahuti is what? It is food to the god. The Agni may take it and then take it in its own medium and take it and so on. So the actual ritual that is done, the entire Karma Kanda, the ritual part always belongs to Yajurveda. So that is that second group. So the first group will invoke the deity. So you may invoke Agni or Prajapati or Soma or Varuna or Aditya or Rudra or Vishnu, whatever. The invoking part is done by Rig Veda. That is how Rig Veda is organized. Once the god is properly invoked, then you have to make the offering. That offering is exclusively in the domain of Yajurveda. So that is that Advaryugana, the second group. Now the third group is, after the offering is made, you sing in praise of them. So that's why 80% of the mantras in Samaveda are from Rig only. 80 or 90, I do not know. Because that is also praise, this is also praise. It is only in a singing format. Samagana, it is in a singing format. That is because, music has its own, it takes you to the next higher level of pleasing, making you much feel and all that. So that is what this Udgatra Gana is doing. The Udgatras are those who sing. Okay? And as I told you, I think, I don't know the exact number, but I think 85 to 90% of mantras in Samaveda are directly from Rig Veda. I think 60% of mantras in Yajurveda are from Rig Veda. So Rig Veda is the major repository. That is the repository. I wouldn't say exactly universal because there are a lot of Yajurveda mantras which are not in Rig Veda. The Aranyakas, the Brahmanas are all in anyway, still, it's a major repository. So that is how these three groups are. So these are purely appointed people in expertise in Rigveda, one group, which is Hotragana, and then expertise in Yajurveda, which is Advaryugana, and expertise in Samaveda, it is Udgatragana. Now the question is, what is the role of this Atharva Veda now? Right? So the fourth group is called Brahmagana. So there is a Brahma and plus three more Brahmas. This is a title. Brahma is not that Brahman. It's a title given. Okay? So there are another set of four. Now the question is, what do they do? Now, the person, this Brahmagana is the one which looks at whether everything is working all right or not. He is a supervisor. He is a controller of sorts. In other words, if they will have to take permission from him, he very closely watches whether everything is done properly. If something is not done properly, he has to intervene and do a prayaschitta and sort it out. It's a much bigger role. In other words, that person who occupies that position must know all the four Vedas now. Otherwise, how do I know? So it is not, that's why it's called Brahma. So he is basically an Atharva Vedi, but he must have the expertise of all the three Vedas, only then he becomes a Brahma in a Yajna. Otherwise, he doesn't get that title because why? He is the one who is actually quality control. Make sure that mantras are done as per thing, and if there is an omission or a commission, he has to intervene, do the prayaschitta, and he has to specify the price. So he is sort of making sure the whole effort is not futile. So now you have 4 into 4, 16, plus 2, 18. So this is how most of the yajnas are done. So the Hotragana is Rigveda, as I told you, Advaryugana is Yajurveda, Udgatra Samaveda, and the Atharvana Veda is Brahmagana, who is the sort of supervisor. In fact, there is a nice mantra in Mundaka Upanishad. I thought I will just bring it here. It says, Plava hi ete. Plava is boat. It actually characterizes an yajna as actually it is in a different context it is talking. It is talking about the futility of only karma. So it talks ill of it. So we should not connect it exactly one to one. But it says, Adrida. It is shaky. Adrida. Plava hi ete adrida. But then it says, Yajna Rupa Ashtadashoktam Avaram. So the 18 components. That 18 component is this. See, in Mundaka Upanishad there is a shloka which says this boat called Yajna has 18 components. These are the 18 components. I am just linking that Upanishad to this Upanishad just to tell you that Ashtadashoktaram Avaram is actually this Ashtadasham is this. Because almost all the Yajnas will have these 18 components. Now, these terms will come in the mantra now. That's why it will talk about Advaryu Pratigritam Pratigrinati, Omiti Brahma Prasauti. All those mantras are coming. So, Brahma is not that Brahma. So, now we will have to connect it. So, remember this framework. We will make a lot of sense of those mantras and the role of Om. We will anyway keep that. So, that is one important message that we must have. There is another thought which is a very deep philosophy. See, moment you talk of Om is one idea which is discussed in almost all the major Upanishads. Chandogya is a huge Upanishad, but a lot of discussion on Om. Taittiriya we are having short, but discussion is there in every Upanishad. In fact, there is one special Upanishad. If you really want to know Om properly, you should understand, Mandukya Upanishad with Gaudapada's Karika. Really, it's all about Om only. I am going to quote something from Mandukya today because the real great exposition of Om is available in all Upanishads, but the Mandukya Upanishad is just focusing only on Om. And it is talking something very deep. So I want to talk about that a little bit today because we will not be touching Mandukya now. So let me little bit talk about it. As a preamble, let's look at, see, if you take a scientist or you take people like us, we are all, not Vedantins in the true sense of the term, although we have deep interest and we will do all that. If you look at a scientist, okay, scientist takes the world of object as the field of inquiry. In other words, Scientist's field of inquiry is the world outside. World outside. That's why I use the word object. Okay? And so the scientist goes through three roles. Experiencer, who is the scientist? Experienced, he observes something, makes sense of something, whatever it may be, but it is something in the world outside. Experienced, and there is a process of experiencing. We are all going through that process only all the time. My friend said something in the office, something happened. What are we doing? We are an experiencer. We are experiencing which is outside of us, trying to make sense of it, and this whole process of experiencing goes. Whereas if you take the classical Vedantin, Upanishad is part of that kind of literature, because you should again and again go back to my first two classes. That is the real foundation for this knowledge. So once in a while, if you are saying what is going on here, you should go there. It will put you back on track in terms of what it is. So if you take a person who is on a self journey, whom I may call it as a Vedantin, he takes the world of subject as the field of inquiry, not object. Subject. That's why I said some time back, Sir Isaac Newton asked, why did the apple fall? Why did the apple fall is an inquiry in the outside world. If you had asked who did fell this apple, who indeed fell this apple, it is an inquiry on the subject, not on the object. If you are worried about the force of apple falling, you found force of gravity which is outside. If you had asked who fell this apple, why did he fell this apple, that is the field of inquiry, subject, not object. So this whole domain and what you will discover will actually change. This is the fundamental difference between Indian wisdom and the Western thought. Many things critically depend on the positions we have unwittingly, knowingly, unknowingly we have taken. I'll build this thought a little bit more. So for a scientist, for that kind of a perspective, right, your stages of life and your knowledge and all depend on only one state called waking state. You have to be alert. You listen, do a content analysis, look through a microscope or whatever you want to do, use all your indriyas and do whatever you want to do. That makes a great scientist. In fact, the scientist's perception of life experiences, everything depend on only one stage of our life called waking state. Whereas, if you take this other category called Vedantin, and all Indians, whether you like it or not, we are Vedantins. The degree only changes because we have come like that perspective only. For us, we have three known states, and our life experiences and our meaning of life is always a function of all these three. The three are waking state, dreaming state, and dreamless sleep. Deep sleep. Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti. We have to use the technical word in Sanskrit. Jagrat, which is the waking state, Swapna, which is the dreaming state, and Sushupti is a state of sleep. Now the question is, what is the difference? Now the waking state is similar to the Jagrat Sthiti, Avastha, is similar to the scientist perspective. Here the world is only gross objects. That's all is the world. And for which you need, in fact in Mandukya Upanishad it says you use 19 components and 7 limbs, something, it gives some number. The 19 components are Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Bhutas, okay, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara and Manas. These 19. You need only these 19. With these 19 you get into the empirical world, and that is all is your life. We have our own experience on it. In waking state, how well these 19 items are working for you, good enough. Even if one of them doesn't work, your life experience is cut to size. Your chitta is gone, you will have to go to Nimans now. and they'll put you on a sleeping dose or something. If your manas is not with you, you heard but you never registered. 1 out of the 19 also, if it is not all right, our notion of like experience will be contrived. Anyway, that is the first stage, which we have a very good understanding of it. Western world relies only on this. Then comes what is called dreaming state. Now, this dreaming state is very interesting. What happens is, in the dreaming state, the self, you, when I say self, I, or you, I first throw all these indriyas out. I throw the karmendriyas and jnanendriyas out of me because I am sleeping, na? And I identify myself entirely with mind. The mind is a super indriya. It will actually, I will narrate a dream. Let's say there was a dream, and the dream goes like this. The dream is that I had a pot full of diamond. This is the dream I am going through. Pot full of diamond, because I just now saw English movie and come and slept. So somebody is chasing me, and then I have a new kind of an equipment with which I can finish them all, but still new people are coming. All that I saw are all coming in my dream. And analyze this dream very, very objectively. I mean, this is the biggest cheating you can do in your life, because you are actually sleeping. You are lying dead and dull, looks like. But you are running, you are firing at people, and you have the audacity to narrate it also the next day. The question is it real or unreal? If it is unreal, you could have never narrated it. If it is real, then tell me, how can a person create, because in the same dream, Mahadevan will be sleeping, Mahadevan will be running, Mahadevan will create 1,000 people. This is Mayajal. You create 1,000 people who are fighting you, and ammunition after ammunition is supplied and then killed, and then the diamond is finally taken and put into your bank account, and then you have a sigh of relief. All these are biggest cheat that can happen. But we go through it every day in our life. So we have to make sense of it. We have to ask, what is going on here? Because you only narrated and we all vouch for it. I had a dream. I am not bluffing. So in the dream, I have become more than a Brahman because I am able to create 100 bodies on the other side. I am able to create myself. I am able to create all my enemies. All that. Look at another dream. This fellow doesn't even, he is J.D. Mara signal beggar. Okay? But in the dream he has become the CEO of IBM or something like that, and goes on for some time. This is the biggest cheat that can happen. But next day morning we come and relate it. So the question is it real, or our rishis asked this question and inquired this. They said, what is going on here? Because it is like a mirage in a desert. You saw water, but when you went near, you did not see water. So it is mithya. It is not satya, it is mithya. It is there, it is not there. Anything which is there and which is not there later is called mithya, which means your happiness is also mithya, your sadness is also mithya, because it is not there with you all the time. It is there today morning, but tomorrow morning it is happiness. Tomorrow evening it is sadness. So anything that comes and goes is not satya. The definition of satya is that which will remain in past, which will remain in present, which will remain in future. That is called satyam. So our rishis started saying, how do we reconcile this? Because all of us have this experience. So this is the second stage, in which without a leg we are running, without a mouth we are actually speaking in the dream. I have a -5 spectacle, but without specs I am seeing. Everything happens in dream. This is the biggest cheat that we are doing on a daily basis in our life. So this is the second stage. Then there is a third stage. After the dream is over, you get into deep sleep. Now this is even more dangerous, because you are literally dead. Nothing, if a big cobra coils you for 1 hour and you are sleeping, nothing will happen to you. Because you are not associated yourself with anything. You have not associated yourself with the indriyas, you have not associated yourself with the body, you have not associated yourself with the mind. Everything is hibernated. And you sleep and you know nothing, but you have the audacity to get up and say, I had a good sleep. Question is, who are you? How did you find? Because your brain was not working. Your intellect was not working. Your 19 elements are not working. Pancha karmendriyas are dead. Pancha jnanendriyas are dead. Pancha bhutas are dead. Okay? Your buddhi, chitta, manas, ahankara, everything is dead. That definition is called deep sleep. But you have the audacity to get up next day morning and say, I had a good sleep. Actually, this good sleep is our rishis did enormous. In fact, Mandukya Upanishad, that discussion is one precedes Om actually. He talks about these three stages. Now in, Brahma Sutra Bhashya and a commentary to it in Chatusutri, Shankaracharya discusses it in great detail. So, but there is something very interesting our rishis found. You know what it is? We are about 30 of us here, roughly about 30-35 of us here. All of us actually have deep sleep every day. 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, I don't know. 3 hours, whatever. Deep sleep or sound sleep is one which my favorite definition is, sound sleep means any amount of sound will not disturb you. That is called sound sleep. That any kind of sound, if it disturbs you, you are not in sound sleep. There is a very paradoxical definition for sound sleep. Okay? All of us have sound sleep. But when we get up, and this can include a child, this can include a person who is blind, a person who is deaf, it can include a very old person, it can include a Brazilian, an African, an Indian and a Chinese. Anything, right? One thing is common. When we get up from deep sleep, all of us have the same experience. My deep sleep experience is no different from your deep sleep. What is it? It was good. I am energetic. You can tell only in past tense. You can never say deep, you cannot describe deep sleep in present tense or future tense, nothing. You can tell only in past tense. I had a good sleep, I knew nothing. Whole world will only have this experience. Point 1. Point 2. Whole world will have one more experience, and that is, it is a mechanism this great divine power has given to us. It is actually a battery recharge mechanism. If you are tired, the best thing that can happen to you is deep sleep. In fact, if you are bored, the best thing to do is, this is the only activity in which you will never get bored. Every other activity in life will bore you. Whereas when you are bored, your para ayana is deep sleep. This is again nationality, demographics, anything you take. So our rishis said, what is going on here? So they very deeply analyzed these three states. They said there is some profound truth here. You can't just dismiss. Western psychology did not look at even dream. Very lately they looked at dream. For a different reason they looked at. Whereas our Vedic literature, Mandukya Upanishad, first mantra 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is only on this. Then it introduces Om and links Om to these three states. That's why I wanted to say all these. When you say Om tomorrow, we should remember so much. It's a very deep, profound idea actually. So, the point is, so there is a waker, there is a dreamer, there is a sleeper, deep sleeper. The question is, are these three fellows different? At the outset they are different, because the person who is dreaming is definitely not, because he was running, he was fighting somebody, he went for a movie, took a flight and then missed the flight. So many things happen. He is not me, I am sleeping. So, this waker, the dreamer and the deep sleeper are definitely strangers. They don't know one another. Please understand this also. This fellow doesn't know the other fellow. This is like brightness. Sun does not know darkness. Sun cannot say, I'll wait for another 1 hour to see what is darkness. In probability terms, this is called mutually exclusive event. So, waker, dreamer and deep sleeper are mutually exclusive events. They are complete strangers. But you have the audacity to link yourself to all the three. Look at the strangeness of what our experience is. So this waker, dreamer and deep sleeper are strangers among themselves, each living in their own world, because this dreamer is the biggest fraud of the lot. He is able to create 20 Mahadevans and 200 people out of it, while he is lying in one corner and then sleeping. You manufacture whatever you want here. In dream you can manufacture anything. You can create an Indrajal also. You can actually go to heaven, spend some time with Vishnu and come back. It all depends on how generous your innovative ideas in dreams are. You can create anything in life in dream. So they are all living in their own world. Analyze the psychology. These are all our life experiences. I am not talking rocket science. I am not talking ivory tower. I am talking what each one of us are going through in our life. I am only talking that. Right? Now, there are a few things which you have to understand. I cannot remember your experiences. You cannot remember his experiences. You can remember only your experience. I cannot remember somebody else's experience. This is a universal law of memory. So that means, since I am recounting my deep sleep, I am recounting my dream state. Of course, I am recounting more easily my waking state. So these three are the same person. Although they look like they are three different people, looks like there is a common thread between these three. Otherwise, I cannot remember. That's very, very important. This is point one. Right? And I cannot remember something which happened in a different place also. Because in the dream, I go to actually New York and spend 2 days there. Attend a conference and come back. This is what I did in dream, let us say. But I remember vividly the conversation happened there. Somebody saw there. I saw Madarasi having a curd rice. Something is happening in the dream. So all these are not fancy. So which means our rishis said there is something more than this. You can't just dismiss it just like that, which we are doing on a daily basis. You have to ask, what is going on here? What is it pointing to? Correct? And therefore, there is some entity which is present in the waking state. That same entity is illuminating the dream, because you will actually see IPL match in the dream. You know how much light you have to put for that? So somebody is illuminating that light also. Literally illuminating, I am meaning. So there is somebody who is actually present in the waking state. There is somebody who is actually bringing life to the dream state by illuminating it. And there is somebody who is a distant observer in the deep sleep state. That's why that fellow can gather himself back and say, I slept. You are not there. Your indriyas, there is ample evidence there. I can make noise, you will not get up. I can throw something on you, you will not even shake your body. So that is ample proof that you are not there. So that is a distant observer. So our rishis understood that this is their starting point of their psychology, saying there is a common denominator to all the three. So in Mandukya Upanishad, all these are described, and then they link it to Om. They say when you think of Om, all these they remember. So I want to keep this idea also with you. With this we will see the mantras now. The mantras become a lot more sensible to us, and we can make sense much faster. We will go on. So we will start. Om iti brahma, Om iti idagum sarvam. So the first two mantras simply say, what is this Om? It says Om is Brahman. And the sound Om. So I put A-U-M. Because in English it is called diphthong. A and U becomes O. The technical word is diphthong. In Sanskrit we call it a sandhi, no? Akara and ikara becomes okara. Right? Akara and ukara becomes okara. It's guna sandhi. So in English it is called diphthong. That's the word. D-I-P-H-T-H-O-M-E, I think, diphthong. So A and U actually sound like O. If you look at the house, for example, au is also a diphthong. By definition, a diphthong is that multiple syllables will sound a single syllable. Au is sort of a single syllable, but you need multiple O and U and all that. House, H-O-U-S-E, house. The O-U is au. It's a diphthong. So Om is a diphthong. A and U becomes O. Gunasandhi. Of course, Makara is Akara, Ukara, Makara. That's why I put A-U-M. Because the whole discussion is going to be on this. Let's say I could have used a diphthong and called it as Om also, OM also. But AUM I have just put. Okay?
Sorry, they will teach like that. Uma. At school, my daughter can't read it as AUM. She will read it as Uma.
Because that's how the sounds have to. See, the Indian phonetics, that's why Sikshavalli, that's how Taittiriya Upanishad started. Sikshavalli akya syamaha varnaswaraha matra balam samasantanaha idyuktasya ekshadhyayah. We said that 6 components. Varna, Matra, Bala, Sama, Santana, Ityukta, Ikta, Dhyaya. Our phonetics is very, very good actually. It found out from where the sound is coming. All the grammar lesson I took when we looked at the first anuvaka, because that's what it is. So the first mantra simply puts a statement that Om is Brahman, because they say Nada Brahman, Shabda Brahman. Om has so many discussions. I am not actually touching any of them because it's very vast. I have only picked one portion of it and then talked today. So Om is the sacred sound. Om is Brahman. As I told you, another great thing about Om is actually not a lipi. Although I use A, U, M and all that, Om is actually a sound. So every language will have Om. Use your lipi. I am only using a lipi to represent it. Om is a Nada Brahman. Om is not a word. It's not a word made out of letters. Krishna means we have to put Krishna. It is actually a word with letters. Om has nothing. I am only using it to represent. It is pure Shabda, Nada Bindu. It is just a seed of sound. So you can say Om in Russian because it is sound. No? Om is a sound you make. No, these are all a way to only represent it. That's the why you use a symbol which doesn't seem to have anything like that. That is the very reason. It is a sound. It is a tag. It is only a tag for it. So the greatness of Om is nothing but sound waves. And if I remember, I told yes, Chanda Samra Shabo Vishwarupa. When we looked at that, I mentioned it is that Om comes out of, if you use your Sandhi knowledge, Akara, Ukara, Makara will become Om. So if you want to open your mouth, it doesn't matter what is your language. You speak Russian, you speak French, you speak whatever you want to speak. You speak Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, whatever. If you want to say something, if you open the first word, there should come is Ah. Open your mouth, Ah only will come. Nothing else will come. Then you decide whether you want to speak in Hindi or Konkani. That's really your problem. If you open, Ah will come. If you close, Im is the way to close. So symbolically it says that the whole world of vocabulary, knowledge and sound is bracketed between Akara and Makara. Om iti idagam sarvam. Essentially it means, what is knowledge? Knowledge is what you comprehend, and what you comprehend is what you communicate, what you express. Everything finds expression through some sound. That universe of sound is bracketed between Akara and Makara. That nobody can challenge. It doesn't matter what is your mother tongue. If you have to close your mouth, you say In many languages say You be like that. Close the sound waves, You want to start talking, Ah. So symbolically, that way it shows that it is everything. Whole body of knowledge is represented by this Om. Akara, Ukara, Makara. Right? But Om, as I told you, has several dimensions. One of the dimension is Om is also the plane of consciousness. The Akara is actually waking state. I will come to, so all that I spoke, I want to now connect it to Om. That's why I spoke all these waker, sleeper, dreamer, deep sleeper and so on. I will take two mantras from Mandukya Upanishad just to show you. So Tani, it says, it's all in Sandhi. So let me read a little split and I will read. Okay. Tani, right? Abhyatapat. Atapat is actually a past tense. Abhi is only a upasarga to it. Abhyatapat. So Prajapati actually made tapat, apatapat. Apatapat. He meditated, past tense. Okay. So the Prajapati is coming in the previous sloka. This is from Chandogya Upanishad actually. Okay. It's the 23rd chapter of the second book. Tani abhyatapat Prajapati. Okay. Tebhyaha, out of that. Abhitapebhyaha, taptebhyaha, from that which he meditated on. Okay. Tebhyaha abhitaptebhyaha Omkaraha samprasaravat. Omkara came out. The previous mantra says he contemplated, he got Bhuhu, Bhuha, Swaha, in which he saw all the Vedas. Now he says he further contemplated on it. That is what this mantra is. He further meditated on it. He actually found Omkara. Okay, Omkaraha samprasaravat. Tat yata, yata is in that way, yata tata. That is a pair of words used in Sanskrit. Yata, in the same way. In what way? It says Shankuna. This Shankuna is, the leaf has a kind of a nerve kind of thing, out of which leaves come. Right? So it says Shankuna sarvani parnani samtrinnani. All leaves are held together by their mid-rib. Narm, that is a vein sort of a thing. Right? So, yata shankuna sarvani parnani samtrinani, they are held together. Eva, in the same way, omkarena, in the same way, by omkara, sarva vak, all speech. That's why I said, you want to start talking a, you want to end talking im. So, the whole thing is held by this diphthong om. So, tata omkarena sarva vak samtrinnaha omkaraha etagum sarvam omkaraha evetagum sarvam. To emphasize, sometimes you say 2 times. It's a punch, or to thumb the desk and say, you say 2 times. Omkara is everything. Omkara is everything. Please understand. Why? The whole body of vak is held together by the akara, ukara, makara. Symbolically, they are representing all the sound that you can make is bracketed between these. That's what this Chandogya Upanishad is saying. We will see the Mandukya Upanishad now. As I told you, first 3-4 mantras describe the waking state, dreaming state, and dreamless state. It says, Vaishwanaraha, Taijasaha, and all that technical words are there. We will see. It says, after describing those 3, now goes to another level. It says, na anta pragyam, na bahish pragyam, na ubayata pragyam. So it is that, I don't know how to describe, that is not something which you experience inside, anta pragyam. That is not something which you experience outside. That is not something which you experience both, which means it is beyond all that. While it may be that, it is more than that. How do you explain it is more than that? This is a way to explain. Right? Okay? Na ubayataha prajnam, na prajnanaganam, not that it is a bundle of only consciousness. It is not even that. Na prajnam, it is neither consciousness nor not consciousness. Na aprajnam. Okay? See, if you remember the first class I said, this is the popular method in Vedanta and Upanishad. It is called Netivada. If you can't find something, you can actually eliminate what it is not. The remaining is what it is. See, when you solve a problem, this is called troubleshooting. In maintenance management, they will do something like this. The debugging program also, they will do the same. What will they do? They will eliminate all this. This is not what it is. Very complex thing, that's the way to do. You should not go and find out what it is. You will never find your way. Best thing is, this is working, take that out. It cannot be this. Now the system becomes smaller. This is a Vedantic thought. It's called Netivada. Na iti, na iti. Not this, not this. If you know what something is, the easiest way to say, I know this is not this. Keep that off. I know this is not it. That is the argument here. This is a method. Don't think they're confusing. They're not confusing. They're giving you a very nice method. When something is very complex, you can slowly isolate. That's why he says, na anta pragyam, na bahish pragyam, na ubayata pragyam, na prajnanakanam, na pragyam, na apragyam. Then you see what all things he's saying. Adrishtam, you can't see it. Avyavaharyam, it is not something which is transactional. You can use it and then... See, God is not transactional. We have made God transactional today. I will give you 20 coconuts. I will give you 108 modakas. God is for not transaction. God is for to keep in your heart and do all these upasanas. We have thrown everything on the temple and there is a committee and there is a revenue stream there. There is a revenue model also. It's not for vyavaharartham. It's ashrayartham. You have to ashraya. You have to, contemplate and revel in it. Whereas all these materialist benefits are for vyavaharartham. That we have put in the locker. So we want to vouch all these material benefits and keep it safe. God, we want to do vyavahara. It's ulta. Anyway, avyavaharyam, agrahyam, you cannot catch it. Okay? Alakshanam, you can't infer it that easily. Because it's nirguna. How can you infer it? The moment you put a property, it is not God. Still we do it for some practical consideration, we may do it. Fact of the matter is, all these will be useful for, I use the electricity example sometime if you remember. You can use electricity to explain all this. Electricity is neither hot nor cold. It is also hot and it is also cold. It is neither hot nor cold because I find electricity for many uses. It is hot because I see it in my heater. It is cold because I see it in AC. All these description you can make it for electricity also. Electricity is for me the best expression of God actually. So don't think these are illogical. They are giving you a certain way to, go through this particular process of comprehending this thing. So alakshanam, achintyam, you can't, imagine it beyond a point. Avyapadeshyam, okay, that which is, beyond all phenomena and so on. Ekatma pratyayasaram. So it is alone. It's by itself, right? Prapancha upashamanam. It will put it is after the whole world is over, there is something more than that. Upashamana is destroy or finish or everything. After that it is there. Prapancha upashamanam shantam shivam advaitam chaturtam manyante. That is called Atma. That has to be known. Like that he is saying. So far we said 3. Now he is talking a 4th. That's why he said, you saw deep sleep and then dreamer and waker. Now you said there should be somebody who is between all the... Otherwise these 3 are 3 strangers and somebody is connecting all the 3. He is talking about the 4th fellow now. Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, right? Chaturtam Manyante. This is a 4th entity which enlivens the deep sleep, the dreamer and the waker. So that is what is coming through this mantra. Saha ayam atma, right? Adi aksharam, omkara. If you use a mechanism of akshara, adi lokam, adi jyotisham, like that, adi aksharam. Pertaining to the syllables, if you have to describe this, use om. That is the best way to do. That's what Upanishad is saying. If you want to use a syllable to understand this concept, the easiest thing is om. Right? Omkara. Adi matram. If you want to look at it pertaining to the matra and the padas, then he says there are exactly 4 components here. Akara, ukara, makara, and then there is an anuswara. So 4 are 4 padas. The padas are matras, matras are padas. That's all it is saying. It's saying padaha matraha, matrascha padaha. Akara, ukara, makara iti. So if you want to understand this deep concept and you want to use some syllable to understand it, the Upanishad says use Om. That's the power of Om. So Om is not a casual word. The moment you say Om, this much must run in our mind. It is talking about the deepest exposition, philosophical thing of who am I. That should come to our mind when you do Omkaara Upaasana. That is what it is actually pushing us to.
Sir, there was a doubt while chanting Om. We should not use Om more and Yam should be used more. Is there any conflict?
Yeah, they say that the Anuswara is longer. It should,
Om is right.
Because I am attending yoga instructor's course.
no, I will.
Yam relates to pralayam, something like that.
No, so there are so many descriptions. I generally don't. This is much above than all that. I want you to do all that, but don't lose sight of this. So I am aware of it. They say, Anuswara has to be longer and all. There may be some Prayoga Shastra, so when you want to do it from a Tantric and all that, there are some rules, ifs and, methods and all that. This is beyond all that. But I am also aware of it. That, Anuswara has to be longer and things like that. They are all in the Prayoga Shastra. For some benefits that you may have to look for and so on and all that. So in that perspective it may be there. So anyway, the mantra again goes, the following mantras in Mandukya Upanishad, then relates the akara, ukara, makara to the 3 states I talked. That's why I talked those 3 states in detail. So it says, Jagrita Sthane, in the waking state. That person, that is some person who is actually common to all the 4. Although they do strange things and one does not know other. The waker never knows the dreamer, dreamer never knows the waker, and the deep sleeper. All those problems exist. But there is a common thread for all of them. So the same person is opening up 3 doors and popping his face differently. So it is a name given. So the person who is in the Jagrata state is called Vaishwanaraha. That's why in Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter it says Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha Pranapana Samayukta Pachamyannam Chaturvidam. He says, I digest all your food. Because that is a waking state phenomenon. He says, I am Vaishwanara in everybody. In Bhagavad Gita you will find in chapter 15, some 14 sloka or something is this sloka. It's called Vaishwanara. So, and that is the Akaraha. Yes is the Avagraha symbol. Akaraha Pratama Matra. So the first Matra, when you say Om, moment you say Om, the Akara, Ukara, Makara must come to your mind. The Akara is related to Vaishwanara, which is our waking state. Then second, Swapnasthanas Taijasaha. The technical word is called Taijasaha. The Vaishwanara is now gone. He is a different personality now. He has shut off all the Karmendriyas, Jnanendriya using only his mind. So that is Taijas. Taijasaha. That is the Ukara Matra, Dvitiya Matra. Then you have Sushuptasthane Prajnaha. He is called Prajna in the deep sleep. Because he is aware, he is, see, we all have awareness. We all have Anubhava, not awareness. See, there are two things. One is called Anubhava, another is awareness. Anubhava and awareness coexist, that's the end of the story. We have Anubhava but no awareness, that's why we related in past tense. We were not going through the Anubhava consciously. Awareness is a function of brain, your chitta, all those. In deep sleep they are all switched off, that's why they are not. That's why you have to go to a fourth stage called Turiya, in which they are all on, and this is also, Anubhava is also there, awareness is also there, that's called Turiya state. In deep sleep, we have Anubhava, that's why we get up and say it was great, but we say unfortunately in past tense. Whereas in Turiya state, he will say, I am going through bliss.
So that is super conscious.
No, he will be able to say, he won't say, he would have become silence personified, but technically possible. That Anubhava will be there, awareness will also be there. They become a jnani when they come out of the Turiya stage, that is the reason. Whereas in deep sleep, we are touching Brahman every day, but we have Anubhava, no awareness. We are Prajnaha. We have the knowledge, but we can't connect it. We can only relate it later.
Because the Brahman material is all pervading. If you experience and be aware of it, then you are.
Yeah, that's the end of the story. That's the Turiya stage actually. So in deep sleep, we have Anubhava, but we have no awareness. It's called Prajnaha. Then it says, Amatra, which is the Anuswara. We are saying there is no Matra there, it's only an Anuswara. Sound is dying, na? There is Amatra, right? Amatras Chaturtaha, that is the one, the detailed mantra I said. Na Bahish Pragyam, na Antat Pragyam, na Ubaya Pragyam, na Prajnanaganam, na Pragyam, na Pragyam, Avyavaharyam, Adrishtyam, Agrahyam. That mantra? So it says exactly that now. So the fourth one is Avyavaharyaha, Prapanchopashamaha, Shivaha Advaitaha, Evam Omkaraha Atmaiva Samvishati, Atmana Atmanam Evam Veda. So you endear to do Omkara Upasana, through that, go after these planes of your consciousness, you will see by yourself. That's how the mantra ends. So I think Om must remind us so much. This is one dimension. As I told you, there are several dimensions of Omkara. I have used only one dimension today. There are two short mantras. We will, I don't know, it's already 7:03. Should we, I think we should stop because, let me see. We'll just see this and then. So it says, then it's the middle part is about the Yajna. Omityeta danukriti hasmava apyo shravayetya shavayanti omiti samani gayanti ogum shomiti shastrani shagum santi omityadvaryu pratigaram pratigranati omiti brahma prasauti. There are four people have come here. Brahma also says Om, right? And Advaryu also says Om. Shama, one who is Samedi, who is the Udgata. No? Here it says Samani, Om iti Samani Gayati. The Udgata name has not come. Okay, Hotru name is also not come. But there are four people involved here. The Om is used as an expression of permission. It says Om iti etat anukriti. Anukriti is permission to do things. See, in an yajna, everything is communicated through Om. That is what this passage is saying. Has, ma, va are all words which we also see earlier in one of the anuvaka, they are all used to show it is very popular. So very widely Om is used as, if somebody can do something, the word is uttered is Om. Right? And then he says, O Shravaya. Right? Api yaha Shravaya iti O Shravaya iti Shravayanti. Now you recite. Make it heard for others. To say that also Om is used. Now you recite. That's also for Om. Om iti Samani Gayanti. When the Samagana has to be done, as I explained, Om is signals do it. Okay? Ogum Shom iti. Om Shom. Shom and Om are used together. Shom Sha is actually Sham, good. Basically it is Om. Om or Shom is used by Shastrani. See, all the Rigveda mantras, I told Rigveda mantras are all 80-90% of them are in Samaveda. When it is sung, it is called Sama. When it is not sung and it is uttered, it is called Shastra. Shastra is not weapons. Here the word Shastra means the Rigveda mantras which are not in the song form. The song form Rigveda mantras become Samaveda. So Ogum Shomiti Shastrani Sagum. So even what is it saying? It is saying all the three Vedic rituals always are permitted, allowed, started with utterance of the word Om. Om iti advaryuhu pratigaram pratigranati. So the Yajurvedin, when he has to give permission to prayer, he also uses Om. And then Om iti Brahma. So the supervisor, who is the Brahma, when he wants to give his approval of doing things, he has to say Om. In fact, it is a very figurative expression here. The point that is being conveyed through that is, in Karma Kanda, Om plays a very, very important role. That is the message we have to take out of it from this. Then it goes on, it says, Om iti Agnihotram Anujanati. See, there are Shrauta and Smarta karmas. Smarta karmas are which are ordained through Smriti. Shrauta Upasana, for example, is a Smarta karma. If somebody is married within 6 months, on the day married, they have to start Upasana. It's Smarta karma. And within 6 months, they have to start what is called Nitya Agnihotri. There are hardly Nitya Agnihotris in India. There are some, but not proportional to the population who is eligible. It may be parts per billion. Agnihotra is a Shrauta Karya, Shruti. So it says even a person who does that Shrauta Karya will start with only uttering Om. That's why in all our rituals we use the word Om. Why? It's not a casual word. It must take us our thought process elsewhere. So it says Om iti Agnihotram Anujanati. Then he says, not only in Karma Kanda and all these, a person who wants to do Vichara, a pure Vedantin who wants to read Vedas and Upanishads and all that, they start with Om. That's why we say Om Sagana Bhavatu, that's how we also start. So he says, Om iti Brahmana, person who wants to know the Brahman. He is not caste. One who wants to Brahmeya Charati Saha Brahmachari. So Brahmana is one who wants to understand that ultimate Brahman. Or if you want a lower version, one who wants to learn the Veda. Want to understand the meaning of Veda. It's a lower version, that's the ultimate meaning of that. Om iti Brahmana Pravakshan Aha. Right? How does he start? He says, Brahma Upavapnavani. Upavapnavani means I wish I get to know Brahman. Iti Aha, having said like this, then he starts saying, I desire to know the ultimate Brahman. Thinking like that, he starts reading of the deep philosophical thing. He also starts with Om, and then the Anuvaka ends by saying, he indeed reaches that. Brahmayeva upapnoti. Brahmaivopapnoti. So he indeed reaches Brahman. So it says Omkaara Upaasana will take us to Brahman is what is being conveyed through this. So this Anuvaka is Prashamsa of Om. It celebrates the power of Om. In this Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, the discussion is less, but in other Upanishads, Omkara, Chandogya has a lot. Chandogya starts with Om. A lot of discussion. As I told you, Mandukya is just about Om. And with Gaudapada's Karika, it is really a big text to understand. I have oversimplified. Don't think I have told you any Mandukya Upanishad. Nothing. Just I gave a certain sense of where it is being discussed. So this is to celebrate the power of Om. And it is a Nada Bindu, it is not a Lipi. It requires no Lipi. We are using a Lipi to recognize it because we want to put it on a reading mode kind of a thing. So with that, all the Upasanas are over. Then the Rishi gets out to a convocation address because these are all passing out students. So the Anuvaka 9, 10, 11, some wonderful, beautiful ideas which are making a lot of sense even for today, terrific sense. Convocation address, how do you set out in the world? But none of us do it. We anxiously correct the question paper and we all disappear. Whereas the Guru did not do that. He tell them, my dear young friend, these are all the things you will face in life. Do this, like that. There are some nice mantras. These are the do's and don'ts. I mean, you can individually teach them ideas, but you have to tell them some basic principles and no-goes of life. That is what he does in the next 3 very nice Anuvakas, which we will see as we go along. Sorry, I have taken 10 more minutes, but I thought it is better to finish the Anuvaka rather than leaving it a little bit and go. We will meet next week with the... Huh?
Convocation also is the same.
Yeah. So, Anuvaka 9, 10, 11 are the convocation address. 12th Anuvaka is Shanti Mantra once again. With that, Sikshavalli is over.